Well, what a thrilling, I think we can say thrilling, the past thrilling 48 hours the Australian football community has enjoyed. If you've been living under a rock, I guess we can quickly fill you in that there's been a lot of drama and it's all centered around, and Sogg needs to have a bit of wine to deal with the tragedy. Um, the grand final rights have been sold to the City of Sydney for the next 3 years, so this season included, and it's definitely caused up a storm on soccer Twitter, soccer Reddit, everywhere, encompassing Australian football. Samuel, how are you on this fine Wednesday evening?
Yeah, I'm well, Bradley. As you can see, yeah, got the wine out. Enjoy a bit of theatre of soccer Twitter this week, and why not have a drink with the disaster
why not?
that's been. Why not? An absolute disaster of a week. What else is there to do but drink and watch just things implode, absolutely implode?
Yeah, I think last night before I went to bed Tuesday night, I was just like, what they call it, doom scrolling, just kept going through Twitter. I could not stop just reading everyone's Armageddon thoughts on Australian football. And don't know if it's gotten any better, but here we are 2 days on from the announcement. Samuel, I was actually lucky enough to not realise the news until about 4 hours after it got announced, because for some reason I hadn't been on Twitter or Facebook or anything.
Yeah, have you got a life or something?
I got out of bed like at 10 o'clock because it was the day off for me. And I was like cheering, went in, bought some new clothes for work, and then sped a bit up, play some Age of Empires. And I thought, I'll just go into social media before I get into a game. And then lo and behold, wow. What were your thoughts when you first heard the news, Samuel?
I don't think I was actually too surprised. It didn't seem like too outrageous an announcement. I must admit, I don't think it's, now hear me out, I don't think it's the worst decision in the world. Now I don't agree with it at all. I don't think it's a good decision. I just am not, I don't think, quite in line with the rest of soccer Twitter. I'm gonna continue to watch A-League matches. Don't hate me, but I still enjoy football, and I still want the A-League to succeed. Yeah. So look, I didn't flip anything. I didn't go nuts. Obviously, living in Sydney, I've actually never been to a grand final, whether Sydney have been in it or not. It's on Sunday nights. I'm always busy Sunday nights. I watch it on TV. For me, it hasn't made that big an impact. But that being said, I can see why people are upset. Absolutely. Yeah, I've got some thoughts. I think we'll dive into it. What do you think, Bradley?
I think the decision to sell the rights is pretty crap. I think we've had a pretty good tradition in the A-League and before in the National Soccer League that the highest ranked team throughout the regular season gets to host the grand final. I think that's a great tradition compared to some of the other major sports in this country that we've developed. And I get people's frustrations for sure. And I'm very frustrated about the situation. I think the decision itself, like just the concept of Sydney exclusively hosting the grand finals for the next 3 years, I'm not a fan, but I don't think that's the major issue. I think it's the manner it got announced, the way Danny Townsend spoke in the announcement, his attitude to the fan base in particular, and the way he treated them, and just the fallout from that, the lack of communication. I think that's been the big problem for me. And I think there's been a lot said on social media. I don't think we can add anything to it except we just repeat it and we give our own thoughts on it. I think I described it as, because I won't stop watching the A-League. It's because like I'm a cigarette addict or a drug addict. I know it's not good for me to keep watching, particularly as a Wanderers fan, although this season has actually been a lot better. But like, I can't stop. Like, I've been a member since I think the second season of the Wanderers. I've been supporting them since the beginning. I'm pretty peeved with Paul Lederer, our co-owner, before this, So it's not surprising that he's been a big decision maker in this. And the Wanderers fans know how shit of an owner he's been for the past 6, 7, 8 years, or however long he's been owner for. So it's something not new. It's just disappointing as a Wanderers fan that, my club and your club included played a big part in this decision.
Oh yeah, huge. Yeah, and I think that's it. Like, our clubs have both played a big part. Danny Townsend has been interesting. He's kind of the face, the spokesperson of the APL. And last year there were huge issues with that because he was still kind of the Sydney FC CEO, was doing the APL stuff, and so everyone saw the kind of double interest he had, and it doesn't look like that's gotten any better. And look, Sydney FC, look, I don't think it's surprising that, our club has agreed to this. I think it's quite telling that initially there was quite a lot of the clubs in on this. But like you said, I think it's the manner in which it's happened. So, I mean, if you're listening or watching this video, I don't think you don't know what happened. You've not been living under a rock. You know that it was announced and it had signatures of pretty much the whole APL board on there, which is made up of most of the clubs. But I think it's Western United weren't part of the APL.
Yeah, so I think there's a board of about 5 people that make the decisions. So Danny Townsend, Paul Lederer, the guy from Brisbane, and the 2 Melbourne clubs.
Yeah.
Victory and City. And
the 2 Melbourne clubs.
Yeah, and the 13 clubs, Canberra United included, are like stakeholders. But ultimately the big decisions are made by this board of 5 from the 2 Sydney clubs, the 2 Melbourne clubs, and Brisbane. So it's all a mess. It really is.
And it's the way they've kind of, you were saying earlier that they've sold it initially as, we're setting a new tradition. It's, we're going to create this new event like the AFL Grand Final, where it's going to be the special day for all football fans. Okay. And then it's, City coming out on Wednesday, I think it was, saying, oh no, it's actually, the money was too good to turn down. Then there's issues around, was there even a bidding process? Did other states know? If Melbourne...
Well, Victoria's come out and said that, well, no, we never had the opportunity to bid for this.
Yeah, that's right. So it just, there's so many steps, and it's APL not really being straight with people, using players in the kind of the promo of it. Some of them, it looks like they knew what they were saying, but others like Craig Goodwin has come out and said, no, I said I like grand finals. I never said I wanted it to be in Sydney, and I wasn't a part of, I didn't know. It's just a heap of dodgy crap, and it stinks of what we tried to kick out when we tried to go to a league run by the clubs. And there's lots of stuff saying it should be independent, whatever it is, it just kind of stinks. Like it's just bad decisioning, and it's not listening to the fans. I think that's the biggest issue. Like, whether or not you think it's a good decision, the fact that so many fans have come out and said this sucks, and yet APL is like, well, stuff is. That sucks.
Yeah, and apparently they're headed for another meeting tomorrow, that being Thursday, where they're going to discuss mainly who's going to be, I think, the new chairman, because the Victory guy, Del Pierre,
Pietro.
They're going to talk about his replacement. I think, well, yeah, but let's talk about the giant elephant in the room about the big backlash you've had from all the supporters across the 13 clubs. It's very disappointing. I think one thing that got brought up, the Crawford report that came around the turn of the century about addressing the issues within Australian soccer, and it addressed that the league needed to be independently run, so not by Football Australia, and that the people running the competition when they go independent has to be made up of independent people. And so that never happened when the A-League got set up. It was run by the FFA with Lowry running the joint. And just when it finally went independent with the APL, there was a recommendation for it to be an independent board, but that never happened. And now we've got stuck with people that are representative from clubs with vested interests. I mean, it's like MacArthur, Sydney FC, Wanderers, the three biggest clubs that are going to benefit the most from this decision. All those guys said yes. Two of them from the Wanderers and Sydney FC are on the board that made the big decisions.
Yeah.
Melbourne, Victoria and City, the biggest clubs in the competition, were on that board as well. But teams like Western United, who are probably the smallest club in the competition, Adelaide, Perth, who are a million miles away, didn't get much of a say.
Yeah.
So it's back to classic Australian football, that politics and people with egos are making the decisions. And, you know, it's the same story. It's holding this sport back. I mean, that's been the case for 50 years.
And look, I'm sorry to say, but that's Australian football from the head to the toes. Like, you look at Saturday Park soccer and it's nepotism. You know, you look at NPL football and it's dodgy running. It's people with money are the ones who get in, not the people with talent. It's our NPL system. It has always kind of been like that, and it's starting to change here and there, but too many difficulties have come. But when it's happening at the head, when it happens in FFA or the FA now, and when it happens with the APL board, why do we expect it to change? And so there's this constant struggle. Why do we not have the best talents out there? Well, because it costs $6,000 for a 14-year-old to play for his NPL club, because we have a bottom-up system where you know, these clubs are fighting for survival. Instead of getting government funding, you know, we're fighting it amongst each other. And it's just head to toe in Australian football. And it sucks. And you have a chance for the leadership to actually model something different. And this is what we get served up. So I think that's what's disappointing. I think it does lead to maybe think about the way Australian football, like the A-League is run. Because I would have said before last week, if you asked any A-League fan how they wanted the league to actually go, they would have said, first past the post, make it a longer season, 30-game season, 2 more teams in, home and away, full season for men's and women's. First past the post is the champions, and that's it. And then have your FFA Cup.
I don't think they would have said first past the post.
I think most people, there's been a battle it's been going on for years, but I think most people would have said that's actually what they prefer. And okay, we've got this unique system, but most people go, no, we want to, this is stupid. We should be like the rest of football. And I think that's the interesting thing, is now people are really caring about the final series. And maybe it's helping to see that actually there is something unique there. There is something good about a final series. It does create interest in a country where we're not the first sport and where that's the norm. Finals games, World Cups, we see that generate fan interest. But yeah, I just didn't think people cared about the final series this much until this blew up this week.
Yeah, right. Well, clearly they do. Which I'm a big fan of the final series, because I think it's our biggest drawing matches. I think the grand finals are some of the best attended matches we've ever had, and we've had some very memorable grand finals and even playoff matches as well. Clearly, the 2-2 draw, Brisbane and Mariners, that went to penalty shootout. That's one that springs to mind. And you've got iconic matches like the 6-0 Melbourne victory v Adelaide, and even the Wanderers 5-4 win over Brisbane in a semi-final. There's
victory knocking off Sydney FC to get it to the final and go on and win it against Newcastle. You've got VAR gate in the final, Newcastle versus.
But then you think of that semi-final, Ryland McGree's Scorpion goal against.
That's right.
These are some of the most memorable games, and I'm all for the finals, because I think it adds a level of interest to the end of the season when, you know, a lot of people will watch a lot of European leagues. Bayern Munich have won it 10 years in a row. How boring. They would really benefit from a final series to actually make it a lot more competitive towards the end. England, we're probably going to see Man City dominate for the foreseeable future. And I think we've got something really good in our competition where, at the end of the day, a majority of the teams are a fair shout of winning the grand final.
And it creates interest right throughout the season as teams, there is no relegation. You can be open and play, and anybody can win. The teams are fairly evenly matched. A team can still get it wrong within a salary cap league and in the system, but anybody can beat anybody on their day. And yeah, look, I agree with you. I think the A-League, we'd like some more teams in there. We'd like it to continue to build in its quality and all of these things. And I do think when you've got people who are behind the game, alienating them like this, it just is a stupid decision from the top. And I think we're going to see, instead of running off the back of a World Cup where Australia made the knockout stages, where thousands of people turned up at live sites right across Australia to watch football at 6 a.m. in the morning, we should have been riding this on a high.
Yeah.
Should be coming into Christmas absolutely loving the A-League, and yet we've got fans who will be walking out 20 minutes into the game this weekend, and it is heartbreaking to see Australian football shoot itself in the feet, like, once again.
And I think that's what hurts the most out of this, because, like you said, Socceroos, moments away from Garen Quoll getting an equaliser against Argentina, 10 days later, are in absolute disarray. One of the last match I think we both been to was you went to the City game, but we went to that Sydney derby, and just the atmosphere that was there, the crowd, the vibe, it was enthralling game. And it's looking pretty grim for the rest of the season. Will we ever have a game like that again for the rest of the season, for a few seasons time? Who knows?
And yeah, it is disappointing. And I think that's the thing. I think that's, we as football fans, we do have a voice, and it's right to make that heard. And whether that's by screaming and shouting, or whether it's actually by going silent for part of the match and letting the people in charge know that the fans are the ones that matter. I think we have a huge chance here as fans of our game not to let this die. Like, nobody benefits from the A-Leagues becoming the next NSL and dying and something else coming. Nobody wins from that. Nobody wins from Australian football imploding. And so I
South
think
Melbourne Mike wins.
That's right. Well, I don't think he does, though. I don't think he actually wins anything, because it has been 17 years of building this A-League. Now, football is definitely older than the A-League. It was around before the A-League. We have
it's only 18
right
years. It's only 18 years old. Didn't you listen to Sir Danny?
But
he knows all.
Over these last 18 years, we have worked so hard to get Australian football back to where it should be, on its way to where it should be, and nobody wins by us just completely busting apart. So I think we do have to be careful as fans here. I think we do have to continue to support our teams, to support football, and yes, let owners know that just because they have money doesn't mean they can do whatever they want. But we can't let Australian football die here. This is not another nail in the coffin. This has to be a wake up. This has to be a wake up.
Yeah, well, Danny Townsend has done a terrific job. He has united the Australian football community, which is really, and I think it has brought out a sense of real vocalism and pride in our care for football. Obviously, the big question is, will the APL do the right thing by the fans and overturn the decision?
I don't think so. I think they've got cash in their pockets. I think as well, it just, if they break a contract, like, Australian football can't afford to go to court. Like, I think the next 3 finals are in Sydney, and we can't survive off 3 years of people not turning up. I think we have to grin and bear it and get the changes to happen where we need them.
I think some people were saying the contract or something with the government will never give us funding again. This government's gone in March next year. Like seriously, like they'll be out by the Labor government, by who knows who even the Labor guys are, because it's not a government. It won't be a vote based on, oh, the Labor's a lot better. It's because the Liberal guys have been trashed for a number of years. So I don't think we're going to have our hands tied in this matter, because the government's not going to be there for long. Hello, Cat. So I think the reaction from the fan base and the adamant, so adamant that no one will be going to these final matches and the grand final. Danny Townsend talked about this deal is going to be a boost for the New South Wales economy. I don't think it will be, because no one's going. And so when Destination New South Wales realised that, and Danny Townsend realised that, they're thinking, oh crap, this deal actually isn't probably that good. We should probably pull out. I'm adamant that they need to reverse this decision. I don't care what money, it's just like the outcry from the supporter base for them to sit there and say, no, we've got the money, who cares? I think will go levels to showing what kind of people these people are running the game. And they might have to hold their, head up and say, you know what, we stuffed up and we're going to be punished for this, but we have to listen to our fans.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting couple of days. I think, if they're going to reverse it, I think they're going to probably wait till it's probably going to happen after this weekend's round. We're just going to see if it's all talk or if it's legit, whether they walk out from the games. I think if there's no decision made to reverse it after this weekend's games, I think we're in a bit of trouble. I think the grand finals will be headed to Sydney for the next 3 years. It should be great for the Wanderers when we play in all 3 grand finals. Someone on Reddit was like, oh, you could just protest the finals. I said, I've been doing it for 6 years, mate. There's nothing new. What are you on about?
Yeah, look, it sure is going to be interesting over the next couple of days. And look, I know the Couch Critics, we've been a little bit slack. This year.
And this is our final video until Danny Townsend and the APL. No, I don't. I think we love football too much that whether it's the A League or whether it's the NPL. No, the NPL bores me. If you want to support the NPL, great, go support it. But I don't know if the A League ever fell apart, the Wanderers fell apart. I just wouldn't give a stuff.
Look,
we're here. The couch.
We're going to continue. Yeah, we're going to continue. We're going to try and get back to some weekly episodes over summer while the football is rolling. So even if you feel a little disenfranchised with the A League at the moment, stick around. Make sure to comment on this video. Thanks for watching this far if you've made it, and make sure to leave a like on the video, and give some things to chat about. Make sure you're chatting in the comments, and we look forward to continuing to just sit back and watch Australian football just be soccer. That's exactly what it is. It's always wild, but enjoy it.
Anyway,
it's been a fun episode, right?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments whether you reckon the APL is going to reverse this decision or not.
Yeah. All righty, Brad. It's been nice.
Yep.
We'll see you around Cash Critics.
See ya.